When we look at South Africa today, it resembles a political ecosystem thrown out of balance, an ecosystem struggling to survive, one whose apex predator is weak and verging on extinction. This apex predator is, of course, the African National Congress, the ANC. Now, three trends are pushing the ANC towards its demise. Firstly, the ANC of today has become a mostly rural party in a country that is seeing more and more people move to urban areas. Secondly, the ANC is also relying on votes from those with only a basic education in a country where the number of graduates has been rising steadily. Thirdly, in a country whose population has grown younger, the ANC continues to depend on older voters. With rising unemployment and violent protests, it's hard to believe that just over a decade ago, South Africa was experiencing a golden age of sorts under the leadership of the ANC. For a while, life in South Africa was really getting better. In 1994, just under 5 million black South Africans were employed. By 2009, the number had more than doubled to over 10 million. Between 1996 and 2009, the number of formal dwellings increased by more than 4 million, from just under 6 million to, again, over 10 million. Over the same period, the number of informal dwellings increased by around 400,000. This means that for every shack that was built, 10 formal houses were constructed. Access to water and electricity saw similar improvements over this period as well. But over the last 10 years or so, things have gone wrong. But how? At the ANC's 2007 party conference, Thabo Mbeki was voted out as leader of the party, replaced by Jacob Zuma, riding a wave of communist and left-wing support within the ANC. Those who wanted to have markets play a vital role in improving the lives of South Africans were defeated by those who wanted the state to dominate the economy. The ANC exchanged the broadly free market approach of Mbeki for the socialist and even communist approach of what is today known as the radical economic transformation faction. But to understand the shift of policy, let's rewind a bit. From the middle of the 20th century, the ANC kept close ties with the South African Communist Party, the SACP. For a long time, the SACP served as the intellectual factory of policy for the broader ANC, and many in the ANC advocated for communist and socialist policies. Therefore, it came as a surprise to many when in 1992 Nelson Mandela announced in a dramatic gamble on the world stage that the ANC would not govern as a communist socialist party. Markets were relieved, but the SACP and its allies within the ANC felt betrayed by Mandela. They felt he had sold out to the capitalist agenda. Mandela effectively banished the leftist factions from the party as it entered the government in 1994, and the results in terms of economic policy and economic performance made South Africa a shining example of African economic growth. Benefiting from economic changes that made life in South Africa better, the ANC entered the 2000s as the apex political predator, set to achieve a remarkable 70% at the ballot box in 2004. But at the Polokwane conference in 2007, the banished left wing of the ANC and their SACP allies saw their chance to fight back. Their power play worked, and Zuma was carried to victory on the shoulders of the ANC's left wing. Amidst the chaos of the 2008-9 global economic crisis, the left-wing faction of the ANC put its newly empowered communist convictions into practice by massively increasing state spending. Hiding behind the global consensus of the time, governments all over the world injected their economies with state spending. but where much of the rest of the world resorted to austerity to curb the post-crisis splurge, the ANC, its economic and spending policies determined by its left wing, doubled down and continued spending massively. Since then, we've seen unemployment levels rise dramatically and our GDP figures have fallen out of step with global performance. In essence, this means we've fallen behind the rest of the world economically. We've also seen the eye-wateringly expensive collapse of Eskom and other state-owned enterprises. In short, life has gone from getting better to getting worse. Battered by the electoral consequences of socio-economic failure, the ANC is no longer the apex political predator, invincible as it once was. But what will happen when the dying beast takes its final breath? How will our political ecosystem react? When an ecosystem, political or biological, loses an apex predator, chaos ensues, but, well, so does opportunity. Yellowstone National Park in the USA, for example, faced an ecological crisis following the eradication of its wolf population. The solution? Well, wolves, the reintroduction of an apex predator. So, perhaps the core question we now face is, where can we find new political wolves to hunt and howl South Africa's ecosystem into political shape?